Hi, this is Joe again with another movie review. And this time I'm going to be doing the Star Wars movies. I'm doing in order of the episodes 1 through 6. So naturally, of course, I'm going to be starting the prequels first. And instead of going through doing the whole all 6 movies in one shot, one video, I'm going to be doing them one at a time. I'm going to be starting with, of course, 1999. The first prequel was came out in 1999. Then, of course, is Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Meanace. Of course, it was Liam Neeson, Ewan McGregor, Natalie Portman, Jake Lloyd, and also stars Samuel L. Jackson, and Terrence Stamp, of course, Frank Oz as the voice of Yoda. Of course, this movie came out 22 years after the original Star Wars film. And I think the reason why it came out because 2 years earlier, in 1997, George Lucas came out with the special edition versions of the original Star Wars trilogy, and at that time it was rumors that Lucas would make the prequels of episodes 1, 2, and 3. Because anybody who is a Star Wars fan, a diehard Star Wars fan, knows that the trilogy that everybody fell in love with back from 77 to 83 knows that those movies were titled episodes 4, 5, and 6. Well, the original Star Wars film was not titled episode 4, but when Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi came out, it was titled episodes 4 and episodes 5 originally. So how comes episodes 1, 2, and 3? Well, now you're going to have episodes 1, 2, and 3 as the prequels. And the reason why Lucas started off as 4, 5, and 6, because he did, in fact, write the entire backstory for Darth Vader, but he felt there was too much political stuff in it, and he, felt that people would give it bad reviews, and those movies would not be as successful. So that's why he started off with, what was now been retitled episodes 4, 5, and 6, because those stories were a little bit simpler, a little bit easy for general audiences to take. So of course, after the success of the special edition versions, he came out with the Phantom Menace, and of course he had a lot of digital characters in it, because now the technology is caught up to what George Lucas originally wanted to have in his movies. Instead of having people in costumes, he had digital characters. And of course, this movie is set about 30 to 32 years before the original Star Wars film. So you have 30 years, pretty much to catch up to where Star Wars movies are set, that we all know. And of course, Jake Lloyd plays Anakin Skywalker. Well, of course, the movie starts off on this planet called Naboo, and which is the home of Queen Amidala, who was played right now, the beautiful Natalie Portman, and she was, at the time the film's release, she was only 17 years old at the time, and a month later she would turn 18. And anyway, her planet was had a blockade on by the Trade Federation, because all these trade routes was controlled by particular federations, and the Trade Federation was the most greedy of them all, and they put a blockade on Naboo for some reason. You don't really know why, because I guess they refused to pay whatever taxes the Trade Federation was demanding, so they put a blockade on it. And the General Chancellor, who was played by Terrence Stamp, and of course people know he was played General Zod in Superman 2, sent 2 Jedi Knights to broker a deal. Of course, we don't know who the 2 Jedi Knights are, at least one of them. It was Obi-Wan Kenobi, played by Ewan McGregor, played by his master, the Jedi Master, Qui-Gon Jinn, and played by Liam Neeson. And it was kind of a surprise that he had such a big name actor, what Liam Neeson was, to play such a big part. Because what George Lucas did in the original 3 movies was not to have such except for Alec Guinness, who originally played Obi-Wan Kenobi, they have big name stars and they have to go with young actors. Well, they had that, and of course they found out that the Trade Federation was about to invade Naboo. So like having to get down the planet, and they had the one and two Jar Jar Binks, who of course is the most annoying character ever. And of course they eventually go on all little other adventures. They went the blockade, and they got the queen off the. Eventually they got the queen off the planet, and they go, instead of trying to go to Coruscant, which is the capital of the whole Republic, because they couldn't make it there because the ship was damaged. So they went to Tatooine and they found Anakin Skywalker, who was played by 10-year-old Jake Lloyd, and who eventually, of course, falls in love with Natalie Portman's character. And of course, they, eventually did get to Coruscant after the big pod race, which kind of reminds me of the Terrier race in Ben Hur. It had that same, type of feel. It was also a pretty long sequence in the film, and it had, that same type of feel as the Terrier race in the movie Ben Hur. Well, they eventually did get to Coruscant, and they freed Jake Lloyd, or Anakin, who was a slave in the planet. And the real thing was that they found out that Anakin was strong with the Force. He had the Force. Was strong with it. And if he had born in the Republic instead of out on Tatooine, because Tatooine was beyond the influence of the Republic, who had been trained for Jedi years earlier. I think if he was 3 or 4 years old, he was probably training as a Jedi, and not as he was 10 years old. So, because he felt the Jedi felt they were too old to be trained. And he says, who was his father? Maybe his father was a Jedi before. And his mother says, there was no father. So that was one of the big problems with the script was that he had like a virgin birth situation. And it's like, I developed him. He carried him for 9 months and gave birth, and that's it. I don't know how in the world I ended up getting pregnant. I wasn't involved with anybody. So there was one problems with the film. And of course the other big problem was, which I'm going to get to at the end, after the review. So they get to Coruscant and they go back and they found out there was this other Jedi running around. And they felt, Qui-Gon Jinn felt that he was a Sith. This of course the evil part of the Jedi's, who believe in the dark side of the Force. And of course we know Anakin as Darth Maul. And the people who put in the strings of the Trade Federation was this Sith Lord named Darth Sidious. Of course we really don't know who he is, as the prequels went on. We think we know who it was. But at first it was kind of mysterious at first. That's why the movie's called Phantom Meanace, because it was always in the background. I don't really know exactly what's going on with these characters. So they found out, so they went back to Naboo to fight the Trade Federation, and they did it because they had a big, divided up the movies, the battle scenes, with the scenes with the Jar Jar Binks' people, the Gungans. And of course you had Natalie Portman, the Jedi, going through the palace trying to get the viceroy of the Trade Federation. And then of course you had the two Jedi fighting Darth Maul. And of course, that was the big fight scene with the lightsabers, was just Qui-Gon Jinn, Obi-Wan Kenobi versus Darth Maul. This is the first time you had two Jedi's on one. There's usually a one-on-one lightsaber fight, and the original trilogy is usually just a one-on-one fight. Now you have a two-on-one fight, which I didn't really get. Why these two guys fighting against this one guy? That part kind of, as a fan of the original movies, that's why I didn't get. So of course, guess who won the good guys won, the Giants won. The Qui-Gon Jinn's character was killed by Darth Maul. No spoiler. And of course, Obi-Wan Kenobi decided, okay, I'm going to train. I promised Qui-Gon Jinn that I'm going to train Anakin with and without the council's approval. And Yoda says, okay, you can train him. And of course, that's pretty much how the movie ends. But so that's pretty much my review of episode 1. I do remember, at the time, the most annoying character that George Lucas ever created in the whole Star Wars universe was the Jar Jar Binks character. And you remember at the time, it was the early days of the internet. There was no YouTube then, or no Facebook then. But I do remember there was somebody that created a website that says Jar Jar Binks must die.com, because I guess the person who created the website hated the Jar Jar Binks character so much, and it was voiced by Armored Best, and he did like this really bad Jamaican accent. He did put like a mix of a Jamaican accent into the voice of the character, and the voice was so annoying, and the way he would utter the lines became a very annoying comic booky character. And I knew that when I first saw the movie, I thought the character was annoying as well. And of course, he was so annoying that George Lucas downgraded his port in episode 2 and 3, which I want to get to another videos. But the movie did make a boatload of money at the time, and of course, Star Wars movies will make a boatload of money because everybody remembers, especially me, because I was in the gentleman. I was not even 6 years old yet when the original film came out, so I was at the right age to accept the Star Wars films. Of course, it also came out at the right time as well, because in the 1970s it was the decade for science fiction stuff. There was a lot of science fiction shows on television. Star Trek was doing reruns of the original series, plus other science fiction shows was on television. So when Star Wars came out, I figured, oh, this is like Star Trek, I'm supposed to see Star Wars, and I got hooked. Right away. And so, of course, when they made the prequel, when George Lucas made the prequels, we figured, okay, great, and we'll see it. And of course, the first movie does end in a mystery. You really didn't, of course, if you're a real diehard fan and done a lot of research, you know who Darth Sidious is, you know who, you don't know what's going to happen. If you've seen any of the original films, no matter if it's in the original version or the special edition version, you know what's going to happen. But the thing that I found interesting in the prequels was you finally found out the backstory of Luke and Leia's mother. Another spoiler, played by Natalie Portman, because you really didn't know who their mother was. All you knew was that one little scene in, well, when I get to Return of the Jedi, there's this one little scene when Luke asked Leia, you remember your mother, your real mother? And of course she says, yeah, that's she was very beautiful but kind but sad. And it's all that she remembers. And of course Luke has no memory of it. And of course he's going to know why when I get to the third film, or episode 3. But I found that this movie was a decent reboot of the film, despite the fact that the Jar Jar Binks character in there, who was of course annoying as hell, like I said. But so was C-3PO at first. When C-3PO was in the three films, particularly the first 2 films, the original film and then Empire Strikes Back, he was annoying. More so in Empire Strikes Back, how the C-3PO was an annoying character. So I guess George Lucas figured have an annoying character like C-3PO was. But C-3PO worked out because he worked off with R2-D2. He had someone really to work off of to put C-3PO in his place. There was nobody really there to put Jar Jar Binks in his place. So I guess that's why he was more annoying than what C-3PO was. And you did see that Anakin Skywalker does create C-3PO. Another spoiler. The only two characters really who appeared in all 6 movies. Not only was Obi-Wan Kenobi in all 6 films, even though they were played by 2 different actors, but R2-D2 and C-3PO were the only ones who appeared in all 6 original Star Wars films. I guess maybe to be in them again for when they have when episode 7 comes out. So that's my review for Star Wars Episode 1. Please like the video, comment on, and subscribe to my page. And hopefully next time I will discuss Episode 2, Attack of the Clones. Thank you for watching.